In this second video of the JetEngine for Beginners series, we're going to create a custom post type, and we're also going to create some custom fields. Hi, my name is Stratos, and I'm constantly producing video tutorials about WordPress. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. So before we begin, I would also like to open in a new tab the documentation of the JetEngine. So if you go to Grokkablocks and Knowledge Base, you will find then, let's go there, you will find there that they have documentation about all the plugins, and if you click here that says JetEngine, you will find documentation about the JetEngine, so you can go and read if you want something to understand and if you have some questions. Of course, the team will be there to answer your questions, and since you have bought the JetEngine, you have the support also. So I'm going to put that in the description below, the link here. So let's close that, and here we're going to create some custom fields and of course a custom post type. Now I want to separate first those two. You can create custom fields inside also the posts and the pages that you have inside your WordPress. You don't need to create a custom post type just to add more fields. Or you can create a custom post type without creating custom fields. You just want the title, the description, and a featured image. So you don't need always to have those custom fields. So if we go here that says post types, we will see that I have here a JetEngine and a built-in switch. So if I switch to built-in, I will have the post and the pages. And here I can create custom fields for the posts and the pages. So if I go here and select the add new, here I can add the title, I can add the content, I can set featured image, and everything I can do inside my post. But if I want, I can create some custom fields to add them down here. Let's close that. And the same goes for pages. So these are two separate things, the custom post types and the custom fields. But of course you can combine them, and in most cases you do want to combine those things. So let's go back to the JetEngine, and here I'm going to click Add New. So as you can see, I have 4 tabs. The general settings is already opened, and we're going to see one by one what it does. So the first thing, as you can see here, the 4 tabs, the first thing that is already open is the general settings. Sorry, I have 5 tabs, and we're going to see all of those. The first thing is the general settings, which has the post type name, and this is the name that we're going to go for the whole custom post type. I'm going to create a custom post type that is the recipe, because I think it's pretty familiar with almost everyone. Hopefully every single of you has already seen a website how to create food or how to prepare your meal, and you will understand the workflow that I'm going to put here and what fields I'm going to create. Also, if you haven't seen any website, you have read somewhere a recipe or something. So I'm going to name that recipe, and I'm going to click down here, and this will be auto completed. This is just for the name, just for my inconvenience. So you can put whatever you want here, but this plays some part inside your website. This will create a slug, and if you don't mean what a slug is, basically the slug goes after your domain name, and will create something like a word after the domain name. If I go here to pages, all pages, I will see that I have only the sample. And if I go and view that, I will see that it has the stratostutorials.com, and then I have a sample hyphen page. And this is the slug of the page. This is what changes and goes and requests this particular page. If I change that to another page, it will show me the other page that I already have. Of course, this is something that you must already have inside your WordPress. You cannot just start typing here and it will show everything. You have to know what is already there. So let's go back, and here the recipe. You can add as many words as you like, but you cannot have spaces around here. You have to connect those with hyphen or underscores, just like this sample page. It has a connection with a hyphen. And it can take numbers and letters. It cannot take symbols. So you cannot have a percentage or a dollars or some other signs. So if I wanted to create a new recipe and not recipe, I would like to name it that new recipe. I will have to go here and type new and hyphen or underscore. So let's close that. Let's not close that. Let's delete that also. And then I'm going to click here to create the edit post type metabox link. And we're going to see later on what it is. Basically, it's an easy way to go from one end to the other. So the next thing, I'm going to click here that says add post type, and this will create my recipe inside here. But since this is a slug and basically we want that to be in the plural, not the singular, so in most cases we add here recipes and not recipe. So I'm going to put that, and this is how we usually do that, recipes, because this is for the archive page. I'm now going to add the new, and now I have here, as you can see, recipes. I have the recipes that are already here in the add new, where I can create a new recipe. If I go now to the post, I will see that I also have the categories and the tags, which I don't have inside here, but we're going to see later on how we can create those. Also, I want to say about this slug that this slug must be unique for the whole website. You cannot create a page that is called recipes and then go and create a custom post type that is named recipes and have the slug recipes here. WordPress will automatically add here a number just to make that unique. The same goes for the pages, for the post, for everything. That's how WordPress handles the slugs, the URLs, and this is how the website, the whole website works. And the whole internet works. You cannot have the same URL in two different things. Okay, so this is how you can separate the pages and everything else. Now let's close that, and next thing, let's go to the labels. So I'm going to close that, and I'm going to go to the labels. Now if I hover here, you will see that it says recipes, and add new. I'm going to open the recipes, and as you can see, it says here add new. And here we have the recipes. Of course, we don't have any recipes inside here. Let's go now to the labels, and this is just for the inconvenience again, just to a pretty way to change the labels that we have here. So first it asks for a singular name, and here I'm going to add the recipe. And with that word, recipe. And with that word, it will basically create every other field that it wants to create. So if I click here that says add new, and this will replace the add new inside here, the add new. So I'm going to click that, and it will say add new recipe. It took the word that I have here and it create the add new and then the recipe. If I click here, it will say again add new recipe. This will be replaced in another field. Add new item, I'm going to click here, I'm going to click here, and as you can see, it does the job for us. So you can just click, as you can see here, everywhere. And also, this is not something that you must do. This is just if you want to add another field inside your page, inside your back end. It will not add anything in your front end. It will not change anything. So I'm going to update that. And now that I have those fields, let's go into the recipes, and I'm going to refresh, and you will see that this will change, and this of course will change. Let's refresh that, and you will see that now it says add new recipe and add new recipe. The same things will happen if you don't do that. This is not something that it's necessary to be done. So everything can be changed here. Also, this is great if you want to create something with for another language. So if you want to create something for a different language than English, you can change the labels here. Next, we have the advanced settings. The advanced settings are things that you will not going to change. All of those are everything that you may need to work. You don't need to change anything, and please don't play with those settings if you don't know what you're doing. But if you have created a test website, go ahead and play with that if you want to do. We're going to see some of those that are in the bottom end. and we're going to see what they're going to do with that. So this is has archive, and this is already enabled. What this means is WordPress will create automatically, not WordPress, JetEngine will create automatically an archive page about the recipes that we have created. So if I go into the general settings and copy this flag and go here and open this tab, let's go for that, and let's paste here the recipes and click here. It will say, let's see, it will not load. Okay, so let's wait. Nothing found. So it seems that it's not working, but it's working. It found the page. It found the page that is called recipes, the archive page, but there is no recipe inside here. If I change that to something else and click here, enter, it will say page not found. So the page was found, but there was no content inside here. This is created automatically because the has archive is enabled. Let's close the general settings now. So you may always want to have the has archive page. I don't think for any example to give you that you don't want a has archive page, and this is enabled by default. You don't have to change that, but I just wanted to show you what it does. Then we have the hierarchical, and this means that it will create some custom hierarchical, so children and parent relationships. So you want to enable that in most cases, and we will see later on what it does. So I'm going to enable that. If you have worked with the categories and inside the posts, you may have already created some hierarchical categories. Basically, hierarchical categories as, let's go for news, if you have a news category, and then you have inside the news, the political, the sports, or the around the global, some other categories. These are all subcategories of the news category. For me, for my own custom post type, which is recipes, I could create a taxonomy later on. We're going to create that, and that will be food or sweet category. And subcategory of the food will be pasta or Italian food or Chinese food. And then inside the Chinese food, I will add recipes that are, of course, Chinese food. Then we have the menu position, and this is where you want this to be displayed. If I go here and put a number, I can go and push that up. So if I go here and put 1, this will go straight up and it will show me right here. Let's go and update that post. Okay, and let's refresh the page. And as you can see now, the recipes is up here. So this is what the number does. Then we have the menu icon, so you can change the menu here. This is the same menu as the post because this is a custom post type. And of course you can click here and change to something else. You can see the icons here and you can search for another icon. Let's change that to something that's more for a recipe. And of course I don't know if they have a spoon or something like that. Let's see if they have a spoon. They don't have a spoon. Do they have a knife? No. So this one. Let's update the post. And now the icon, once I refresh, will change to the icon that I have put. Of course, you don't have to save and update after every change that you can. You can create first and change everything and then save once. But I'm doing that just to show you what it does. And then we have the supports. This is what native things you want from WordPress to be inside your custom posts. So now we have the title and the editor. Let's go and click here that says add new recipe. And once it opens, you will see now that I have the title and I have here the content. Keep in mind that this is because of my theme, and this is why I have the yellow background here. And here I don't have anything else except the permalink, of course. I don't have anything else. So if I want to add more things of the core features of WordPress, I'm going to click here and you can see that it says comments, revision, trackbacks, author, expert, and everything else. If you don't know that, this is basic things of WordPress, and I'm not going to explain those. I need to have the featured image because I need to have an image for my recipes, and this is something that you may always need to have. And also I like to have here the expert. So I'm going to put that, and let's click that and see what else we have. We have the post format. We're not going to custom fields. We're not going to add those. We're going to add custom fields of our own. Author, trackbacks, revision, comments. Nothing else does matter right now. So I'm going to update that, and I'm going back here, and you will see now that I will also have here the featured image and the expert. Let's refresh here. And as you can see, I have the featured image and the expert right here. So I'm done with the advanced settings. Let's close the advanced settings, and we're going to skip the meta fields for now, and we're going to skip the admin columns for now also. Let's go and add 2 or 3 recipes just by a name and something else. I'm going to add here name 1. Of course, I'm going to delete that later on. 1, 2, 3. And I'm not going to change anything else. Let's update that, and let's add one more recipe. So let's go again to add new recipe. Let's go for 2, and let's go here for 2. Okay, and let's publish that and publish that. Okay, let's go back. And here we have now the admin columns, and let's see what it is. Admin columns is basically, as you can see here, we have the title and the date. So if we have some here, anything else, we can create custom fields, and we can add those inside the admin label, the admin columns, sorry. So we can put here the categories, the feature image, the content, everything that we want to put. It can handle anything that we want to add. Of course, we don't have taxonomy, so I should create first the taxonomies. So first, let's go to the taxonomies, and this is what we're going to do next, and then we're going back to the admin columns and meta fields. So taxonomies is how you can handle the grouping of your custom post type. I want to understand, you guys, what is a taxonomy and what is the main difference between a taxonomy and a custom field when we're using taxonomies and where we're using custom fields. This is something also that you should also be aware, and you should know if you're using the posts, and when you're using categories, when you're using tags, and where you're using something else. But in case if you don't know, let's see what it is. Taxonomies is the way that we can group our posts. And of course, here, when I say post, I mean recipes. So I'm going to create a taxonomy, and that taxonomy will be named type of food, let's say. So the type of food can be sweet or salty. So the sweet means that we're going to create something from chocolate, something from something like a dessert, and the salty is our main dishes or something else. And this is something that we are going to group our recipes. So if this is something that it will group your custom post type, this is a taxonomy. So let's also say that we're going to create some recipes, and inside our recipes we're going to add custom fields, and one of those custom fields are ingredients. And inside the ingredients we're going to have onions. Now many many dishes will have onions inside there, but there is no point for me creating a category that says onions, because it will not add any value. I don't think that anyone is going to search for a category that it says what food has onions. It's not a value thing for me to have. But if I'm going to have also recipes that are going to be for lactose intolerance people, I think that this adds a value to my website. There are many visitors that are going to search for recipes that are specific for lactose intolerance. For other sweets that may have stevia, so it will be low fat or vegan or something else. This is something that you can create a taxonomy about. You can also create a custom field that it will tick a box that it says vegan, but I think because it adds value to your website, it will be best a taxonomy, so it will group the recipes under the vegan or lactose intolerance recipes. So what it adds value and groups, you can go and create a taxonomy. Everything else will be as a custom field. Hopefully you have understand those two, because I think this is a major feature to understand, and you can help your visitors navigate to the website and search between everything. Of course, there will be filters later on. I don't know if I'm going to create that in this series, but you can add filters in your recipes and have them filtered by sweet or chocolate or something else like a custom field. But it adds more value for you to create a category, a taxonomy. So inside the taxonomy, I'm going to click Add New, and this is something that is pretty familiar, sure, because these are the same settings that we have in the post types. So, taxonomy name. What is the taxonomy name? Type of food. I don't know. Type of food. So, I want to separate the main dishes from the dessert. So, I'm going to separate that by calling them type of food. Hopefully, it is the correct thing to say. Once I click outside, as you can see, it says type of food, and this is automatically added. Now I'm going to remove the off because it's a stop word and it doesn't add any value to my slug. So now I have the type food slug. Also, be aware that when you create a taxonomy, this will also create an archive page about this with this slug. So it will create a page that it says type of food, and this is the name of the slug. This is the archive page. So then we have the post type, and this is where you want to add that taxonomy. So I'm going to click that, and of course, as you can see, it has also the post. So basically you can add more taxonomies inside the posts here. Instead just having the categories, you can add other taxonomies. So I'm not going to select post, of course, I'm going to select recipes. And now you can also have them applied to, if you want, to another custom post or another post type. Now I'm not going to do that, and of course I'm going to click here that says edit taxonomy. I do want that. And if I hover here that says recipes, you will see that I only have two selections available, and I'm going to add the taxonomy. And now if I hover here, I will see type of food. Then we have the labels, and it's exact same thing. You can put the singular name, which is type of food. Again, this is the taxonomy, type of food. So basically, this should be types of food and not type of food, types of food. Sorry for that. And let's update that. And as you can see, it says here update the terms, because if you have already created some things, some terms here, it will be automatically changed that. Because I haven't, I don't need to update that. But if you want to do that later on, you can do that. Basically, do not do many changes after you add content. Even if they have here this check, and you can do that, and hopefully it will update everywhere, I wouldn't do that if I were you. So then we have the advanced settings. We will see later on if we want to change anything else, but we also need to change the hierarchical here. I'm not going to, because I want you to show you what it does. And then we have some meta fields for the taxonomies. Let's update the taxonomy, and let's go to recipes, and now let's go and add new recipe. Now, since I'm going to compare that to here, let's close that. And this was the one that we have before, and this is what we have now. So now we have also the types of food. And I think the types is correct. I need to put here type of food and not types of food. Okay, I'm going to change that. So if I click here, it says add a new tag. So I can add something here like a tag, and I'm going to click enter and it will take the tag. But this is not something that I want, because if I add here a category and I have it already added in my website, I will not be able to find it by just looking at it, click it. I have to retype it again, and hopefully I will not make any typos. If I do make a mistake, it will add another category. So I don't want to do that. I'm going to close that. I'm going to close that also. Let's go to taxonomies and let's see if it has already added the taxonomies inside here. Type of food. Okay, of course it's an error because I have to refresh because it changed the URL. And now if I go to recipes and types of food, it will go here, and as you can see it grabbed that, but I'm going to delete that. Okay. And now let's go back to the custom taxonomy. I'm going to delete that and delete that. Okay, and now I'm going to advanced settings and I'm going to change that to hierarchical. Once I do that and update, now you will see that when I click the add new and refresh here, I will have here the category, the taxonomy type of food, and I can now click the add new category. I can here put main dishes or main dish, enter. And now, as you can see, this is how it will look. And if I want to add it to another category, I can go ahead and just click if I had other categories. I don't have to retype it every time. And this is why I usually put the hierarchical, even if I'm not going to add hierarchical inside my custom taxonomy. Of course, hierarchical also means that you can create parent and children relationships, and this is also something that I need here. But even if you're not going to, and you're adding just a website for cars and you only need a hierarchical a taxonomy for maker, and you don't need to add anything else, you don't need a hierarchical for the maker. It's only one maker for every car. You don't have children's or something. Add the hierarchical just to have that ability, just to have the check there. The description is something that you can write just to help you understand what the taxonomy is about. So I can write, type here the type of the food, not type the type of the food, type the what is the food about or something else. I don't know. So let's go and update once again. And I'm not going to change the meta fields inside here. These meta fields are the same that we're going to see inside the post type, and we're not going to change anything here. Basically, you have also the ability to add meta fields inside your taxonomy, and there are some cases that you may need meta fields because you may need to have a maker for a car, but this maker has 2 or 3 countries that creates his product, and you want to add a specifically country that this is where you buy this product, or you want to add a date, or you want to add another image, or you want to add, I don't know, you may need to have some meta fields inside your taxonomy. So we're not going to change any of that. And next thing, we're going to add 1 or 2 recipes again. So let's go to the recipes. Let's refresh first to change the types of food to type of food. Okay, and here I have the main dish, and also I'm going to add the dessert just to have something. So let's add dessert. Okay, let's add new category, and this will go for dessert. Let's go back to the recipes, all recipes, and now I'm going to edit the 1 and edit the 2 also. So let's go here that says type of food. This is a dessert, update, and this is main dish, update. Okay, now back to the post types, and I'm going always back and forward because I want you to see everything that I do and what everything does. So I'm going for the admin columns at this moment, and lastly we're going to see the meta fields. So let's go to admin columns, and as you will see here in all the recipes, let's go and add all the recipes. You will see that I have only the title and the date, as I have said. I don't have anything else inside here, but I want also to add the type of food inside here. So I'm going here inside the admin columns, and I'm going to click add new. This will create a new column. What's the name of the column? It's type of food. You don't have to put the same name as your category, but this is what makes sense for me right now. Type of food. The type is meta value if you have added a custom meta field, post terms, or custom callback. The meta value, as I've said, is the meta fields that we're going to create later on. The post term is the taxonomy, and the custom callback is other features that are integrated with WordPress already. So you can have the thumbnail, you can have the human render value from the checkbox. You have some things that you can have, like the post ID, the post title, and anything else. We're not going to put their custom callback. We're going for post terms. And here it says taxonomy. Taxonomy slug to get the post term off. So this is type food, the slug that I have created inside my taxonomies. Let's go and see what was the slug. You don't have to rename that to remember that. So this is the taxonomy slug, type of food. I'm going to copy that. Going back here, and I'm going to click that and paste that here. Then we have the column order, so you can say that you want that to be positive or negative, so how it will start and show everything. We have a prefix and we have a suffix, so I'm going to click update. I don't want to change any of those. The prefix is a text before and the suffix is a text after. So let's update that, and let's go inside our recipes and let's refresh. And now, as you can see, I have the type of food here that it says dessert and main dish. Later on, we will see how we can add another taxonomy here once we add some custom fields. And now let's go to the last one that we want to change inside the post types, which is the custom fields. So this is the meta fields. This is how JetEngine says it. So we're going to start by the label. Let's add here a new recipe, recipes, and add new recipe because we want to see where we're adding what. First, in the label, the name of the field is difficulty. Once I click down here, it will autocomplete that. And of course, I have made a mistake and I need here to put double F, difficulty. So let's delete that and click here and then click here again. No, it doesn't take that automatically. Okay, so difficulty. Also, this should be unique for the whole website. In most cases, when I'm creating custom fields and for custom post types, I'm going here and always put here recipe or recipes and difficulty, recipe difficulty, recipe hyphen difficulty. And this is because there are many cases, there are many websites that have already created some custom fields inside the custom post type, and then later on, 1 year later or 2 years after that, my client comes back and says, I want also another custom post type that it will not be recipe, it will be books to buy for recipes or something else. And I have to create also some other custom fields. And those custom fields, I want them to be separated and I want them to be easily identified which are for which custom post type. And that's why I always add here the recipe. It's a little bit work to be done more because I have to add it manually every time, but I think it's worth it because I can easily separate those fields later on. So I'm going to add that in every field I'm going to create. Next, we have the object type. And here I have the field, I have the tab, I have the condition, I have the endpoint. Most cases you will add this and will leave that to field. You're not going to change that to anything else. So let's stay with the field, and later on we're going to see other fields also. Then we have the field time, and this is the most things that we're going to change, something that we're going to change most times. Sorry for my mistakes. And this is the field that you want to add. So we have the text field, so it can handle text, words, numbers, and everything else. It will not identify what you're putting. It will not correct you if you're going to put something, anything else. It will just wait for text to be written. It will just add a simple field like that. It will not add a whole box. This is something just for a text, some words, and you can write everything that you want. So the difficult can be, and then select the text so I can add anything that I want. Next, we have the date, so someone can select a date. Next, we have the time, so I can select the time, date, and time. I can select both. Text area is a box that I can type more things, like just some basically description or short description. I have a box and I can do that. Then I have the what you see is what you get. This is what it means. So I have also controls over my text, so I can bold, italic, and underline and change some things. So this is basically something that you may need to add in some cases. Then I have a switcher, so it can switch between two places. This is something that you may need when you add relationships. I have checkbox, which it adds boxes, and you can add multiple selections. So I can have this and this and this, so 3 out of 5 can be selected. I have the icon picker, so I can select an icon. I have media to select an image. I have gallery to select more than one image. Radio, this is also like a checkbox, but in radio you can only select one and not 1 of 5 and not 3 of 5 or 5 of 5. I have the repeater. We will create something with the repeater later on. The select is also something like the checkbox, but it's like the layout that we have here. This is the select. So you have something like this. You click here and you see all the available things that you can select, and then select one of those. So it will take less space. Then after the select, we have the numbers, so it can take numbers and not letters. We have the color picker to select a color. We have post to select some post that you already have, and HTML. So I'm going to click here and add the text first, just to see what it is. Then we have the description. If you want to add description after the field, just to inform your client or yourself, to remind yourself what you're adding here. This is the difficult. How difficult is the disk that you're going to create. Then we have the field width. We're going to change that later on. Character limit, if you want to have a max length of characters here. Then we have the default value, if you want to add default value. In some cases you want to select default value. Is it required? If it is, you have just click here and says it is required, and then we have the conditional logic, and we're going to see later on what it is. So I'm going just to add one field, and this is the one. I'm going to update the post, and I'm going to click here the recipe. I'm going to refresh, and now as you can see, I have here that it says settings and then difficulty, and this difficulty is 100% of the width, and here is where I can put anything that I want. And this gear is the icon that I have set for a link inside my custom post type. So if I click here and open up in a new tab, as you can see, this is the post type that I have created, and I can switch that off if I don't want the link. If you are creating websites for your client, you may not want to leave that open. So I can go here, update that, and then if I refresh here, I will see that I don't have now this gear icon. So this is the meta field that I have created. and this of course is a text, and it says difficulty and then name recipe difficulty, because this is the slug that I'm going to use. So let's go back, and now I'm going to change that to 25% and update that, and now you will see that it will not take the full space of the row, and as you can see it takes only the 25. If I add something else, another meta field, and I add the same field with 25, then I have one next to the other. So I can have 4 fields, one next to the other, and a cleaner look in my back end. Everything else I think you can understand, so I'm not going to change anything else inside here, but I do need to change the text in the difficulty because it doesn't make sense. Difficulty, it should not be a text, it should be a selector. Select, so I can select between 2 or 3 options. So let's add now the new field. Let's close that, and in case you didn't see that. And once you hit select, it opens up something new, so it will wait for you what kind of choices do you have. So you have to add now the choices. Select the add new field and then start creating the choices. The first choice is easy, because it's an easy recipe, and if I click here it will not automatically create, so I have to create the option label to be again easy. And keep in mind that this is the value, so this is one you select, and this is what you will see in the back end. So you can type here easy recipe or anything else, but in the database it will only save the word easy. So later on, when we're going to create our front end, it will just say easy, even though I have selected something else. And then if I want that to be selected by default, so everything will be easy unless I select anything else. Then I have the next value, which will be medium. And the same will go for here, and then I have the next value, which be difficult. And copy that and save that here. Let's update the post, and let's go back to our backend, to our recipe, and let's refresh. And now, as you can see, I have here easy, medium, and difficult. If I do not change anything, the easy will be saved. Also, I have here the multiple that was added, and here is if I want to select multiple values. Of course, this is not something that I want to do when I use the selector, but you may need to have a little less space and you want to select multiple values and use the selector, but I never use that. I always use a checkbox or something else if I want to have multiple values. So I'm going to update that post as I've said before, and now I'm going to click here, which is the difficult and the arrow, so it will minimize that and I have more space. After that, I will need to add a new meta field, and this is the second one that we're going to create. Other than difficulty is time to make the dish, I don't know, time to prepare, to complete, time to complete. Name ID, when I click here, it says time to complete. I'm not going now to remove the time to complete slug. I'm not going to change that because it will not add an archive page for that. It's just the slug to use here. But I am going to add here the recipe. Time to complete. I will put that as it is. You can also go ahead if you wanted, just type recipe and time if you want. Next, I have the option type, which I will leave it as it is, field, and then I have the text. And here, I'm not going to select time because time means I will select 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I don't want that. I want to have here a number, and this will mean how many minutes. So I'm going to select here a number. Where is the number? Here's the number, and here I have a minimum value, and as you can see, everything else changing depending on what I'm going to select here. So every field around here, not every, but 3 or 4 fields here vary depending on my choice here. So the number has the minimum value. So what I want for a minimum value, 1 minute or 5 minutes. I don't want to put here 1 minute because there are no recipes done in 1 minute. Max value, 3 hours if you want. I'm not going to put that. Step value is how many steps you want between everything. I'm going to leave it as it is, but there are some cases that you may need to add 5 minutes and 5 minutes, and or if you are going to add a price and you want to have a step value of $1,000, or if you're rich. Okay, description. Here I'm going to put add time in minutes. And this is because I want to remember that I'm always adding minutes here, and I'm not going to add 1 hour and 6 minutes or something. I always add 90 minutes or whatever it is. Always the time is in minutes. Here I'm going to change that to 25%, and the default value will not be anything. Conditional logic, I don't have any, and I'm going to update the post and look how it is in the front end. So let's refresh that. And now as you can see, I have time to complete, and I have time, add time in minutes. So I like how it is. Maybe I could change that to a little bit more. I just of 25, and I can go for 33% and 33% for also this one. So I have 3 instead of 4 for here. So let's click that and change that to 33%. Where is it? Sorry, it's in the bottom here. 33%. Okay, update the post. And now if I refresh, I will see that now they have 33 for here and 33 for here. Okay. Let's close the number. Let's close that, and let's go to the next one, which will be, sorry, not that, the difficult one. So I have the difficult and the time to complete. Let's add another text, another meta field, which will be cost. Cost. Okay, here it's recipe cost. Recipe hyphen cost. This will be also a number. Okay. Here I can also put the minimum value of, I don't know, $2 or something. Max value I'm not going to. Step value is maybe 1, so I do not have demicals. I need to add always a number like 2 or 3 or $5 or $7, not 7.2. Then I have the description, field width and default value. So field width we have 33%, and I'm going to update that. And now let's go here and refresh. And we created our first row. So I have the, as you can see, easy, time to complete, and this is the cost. Let's now go to the admin columns. And I'm going also to add a new column now that I have 3 fields here. And the title will be cost of recipe, cost of recipe. I'm going here to select, of course, the meta value because I want the meta value. And then it says custom field name to get the value from. So here I need the slug of the meta field. This is the one, the recipe cost. Let's close that also. And I can paste that here. It says column order if I want to change the order. So I can go and put that if I want to be in front of the date or after the date. And then I have the prefix, suffix, so I can add text before, add text later. And then if I want them to sort me out by the cost, I do want that. And is it a numeric field? Yes, it is a numeric field. It's not an alphabetical field, it's a number field. So I'm going to update that. And now if I go to see all the recipes, all recipes, I can see now that I also have the cost of recipe right here. I can go also and change that column order to 2 and upload here, update the post, and if I go back to our recipes and refresh here, I will see now that the cost of recipe went to the second column, so the date is next to that. And of course, as you can see, it's clickable, so I can sort that depending on my cost. This is for me to separate those posts easier. Let's go and add another custom fields, and I'm going to add 2 or 3 more just to show you what you can do. After that, you can just go and play with those, but I do want to show you some differences. Let's add here a switcher, and this switcher is basically something that you can enable and disable. So this is where you put the description if you want, but here I'm going to put something that will make sense for a switcher, like has extra cost. The name ID will be recipe extra cost, and I'm going to change that to put also a 25%. Of course, this will go to another row. And after that, let's first see what it does. Let's go to the add new and refresh the page. And here I'm going to see that I have now a switcher that has on and off for the extra costs. But of course, I haven't said anything else to be done with here. The add has extra cost. So let's go back here and I'm going to add a new field. And this is the extra costs. The name ID is recipe extra cost, but I cannot have the same as here, recipe extra cost. So this is the recipe extra cost field. And here it's let's go for I don't know, let's go for a number, and this is the extra cost that we may have. The extra cost is basically if it's extra, if it is, and if it has, not is, an extra cost from importing an ingredient. So in ingredients, and this is a number, and this will be 75, and let's update that. And now I'm going to conditional logic. Remember that the conditional logic is done in the field that you want to be appeared or be disappeared, and this is where you do it, not in this switcher, in the next field. So I'm going to select conditional logic. I'm going to add a new field and add new rule, and this is the field has extra cost, and the operation is when it's equal and the value is on. So every time I will put that to on, this has extra cost will be appeared. You have also other things that you can make changes if you're going to put a conditional logic with other things like a selector or not something else, but here is equal to on. Let's update that post and let's go here and refresh. Now here, as you can see, I have the extra cost, and whenever I click here, I will have here extra cost that it says if it has extra cost from importing an ingredient from overseas or something. Now, this conditional logic can be very useful if you're going, let's say, adding a custom post type that can handle, let's say, for a dealership, and you have car dealership and motor dealership in the same custom post type, and you add here car, or you add here a bicycle or a motor or something else, and here you have some extra fields that only make sense if you're creating your car, if you're adding a car, but they don't have any sense if you're creating a a bicycle, if you're adding a bicycle. So you can switch here to is a car or is not a car, or select something, and then you have separate things for a car. It has, I don't know, electric windows. You don't need that in a bicycle. So you have other things to check if you're adding different things inside your custom post type. And this is why you may need the conditional logic to add things that you should enable or disable depending on your values here. Next thing, we have the tab, I think. Let's go and add a new meta field, and let's minimize that. Has extra cost, minimize, extra cost, minimize. And now I'm going to select here tab 1, and here I'm going to, instead of field, select the tab. After that, you can select the layout and select the horizontal and vertical. What you select is going to be identical for all the following tabs. So you cannot have a tab vertical and then a tab horizontally. You can select what you want here, and then it will be applied to all the other tabs. So I'm going for horizontal, and I'm going to duplicate the tab, and then I have a next tab here. So let's click here, and now this is the tab 2, and this is the tab 2. As you can see, it's tab and it is also horizontal. So I'm going to update that, and once I go here and refresh the page, I will see that I now have 2 tabs horizontal that I can select, tab 1 and tab 2. Now every field that I'm going to add under the tabs, let's close that and close that, will be every field that goes under the tab, it will be inside the tab 1, and after the tab 2 it will go into tab 2. And this is something that you have seen in your menu of WordPress. So if I'm going to add a new field, and let's here type 1, 2, 3 and update that post, it will automatically take here, and you will see now that it has something that is pretty familiar with the menu. So I can grab that and I can put that here inside the tab, and as you can see, I have this to be a little bit more to the right, so it's under the tab 1. So if I update the post, and if I go here, not here, here, and refresh the page, I will see now that the tab 1 will has 1, 2, 3 like a field, and then tab 2 will have some other fields. So this is a way to have many custom fields and have them separated accordingly that what you like, and it will be easier for your client to add all of those things. This is if you have too many options. And let's, of course, I'm not going to do anything else. If you put horizontal, of course, this tab will go one on top and on the bottom, and the same thing will happen. And let's delete that. And of course, since I already showed you how you can move a field, you can do that with every field that you have. You can change how they look by changing the order. And of course, the width will follow the custom field. So you have to go and select another width if you have another width from another row. Hopefully you understand what I'm meaning. And the same is for the accordion. If you know what accordion is, then you can select accordion and it will just add something, and you will click and then see all the fields that you have inside there. The endpoint is not something that we're going to cover. I think it's for the REST IP to want an endpoint URL, but I haven't used it anywhere, and I'm not going. I don't think that I'm going to use it. So this was the video for the custom post types and custom fields in the backend. In the next video, I'm going to create, of course, some recipes, and we're going to start building our website. Everything that we have created right now is for the back end. WordPress doesn't know how to handle all the meta information in the front end. It knows how to handle the core features, the title, the description, and the featured image in sometimes. So if I go now to the jetstratustorage.com and then add recipes, which was my URL slug, and click here, I will see now that I have the 2 recipe and the 1 recipe, because already I'm using the core feature of WordPress. And as you can see, this is the title and this is the content. If I go inside a recipe, I can see now also the title and the content, because WordPress already knows how to use those two fields, but the other custom fields that I have created needs to be displayed somehow, to be added somehow inside the layout, and this is what we're going to do next in the next video. So please subscribe to my channel for more videos like that. Gives me a thumbs up if you liked it, and just to know, I don't like to put ads inside my videos. This is why I don't have any ads inside the videos. I have in the beginning, I have in the end, but this is a 6-minute videos and I don't have any ads inside there. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.